All right, I'm going to switch over to some problems now. Yeah. Let's do some problems, friends. Yes, you may. Before the test. So you can turn it in Tuesday, right before we begin.
How would this work?
Negative exponents.
Yeah.
Okay, you looked in 5.1?
Yeah, I can't find it.
Okay, put the thing down and I'll show you. Show me your 5.1.
This is 5.1.
No, when you're...
What?
Go to the section, 5.1. It says the page numbers on there, if that helps.
What do you mean?
Where it said 5.1.
Oh.
Right. It says 417 to 426.
Oh, where? It doesn't explain anything.
Well, let's just look. Yeah, I'll see if I can find one for you. 417 to 426. Go to page 417.
We're on 417.
There's a long chapter. I wanted to highlight number 3 online and number 5 in your book. This is a question that I would put on the paper version and say you must show work. So your calculator will do this. It'll pop out 1/9. But I want to know that you can go through the process of simplifying it, showing the properties of radicals and exponents. So please, when it says evaluate without a calculator or without technology, you will still have a calculator, but you have to justify the steps of how to start with the problem and get to the final answer. Okay. There's a negative exponent, and there's a problem with the negative exponent. Okay, next request is number 13. Is that in the book or online? In the book 13. Somebody already, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
First. So what kind of video are you making?
I actually don't know. He just called me last period and told me to leave at 10:45 to film mechanics.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sandra? 11? Online. Okay, I'll do 13 on paper and then I'm going to do 11 online. Okay, so this is a good example of the type of problems we practice. Guaranteed test question. You will have to use the conjugate on your test. The conjugate would be that same expression with an opposite sign. You multiply it into the top and bottom and simplify it. So it requires a lot of distribution. The top stays the same, while the bottom is a little more challenging. I'll wait and give you a chance to multiply out the bottom on your own. Two times 2 is 4. 2 times the square root is 7. You can't multiply those because the 2 is not under the radical. So if this was square root 2, I would have wrote 14, but since it's not, it just lands out in front. Minus 2 square root 7 minus the square root of 49. In the middle are opposites. Okay, when I'm done with this one, I'm going to... Okay, yeah.
So for this, so I know I have to bring this 1 over here, but should I do it before I divide the problem by 4, or should I do it after?
Do the 1 first.
Okay, so it's 21, and then I did 4. Thank you.
Because the 1's not under the radical, right?
It's on the
Right,
outside.
yeah.
We know it is.
But you would minus.
It is underneath the radical, sorry.
Oh, then you wouldn't move it. It's stuck
Yeah,
under
it's stuck
there.
there. Sorry
In
about
that case, divide first. So I'm not sure how you're going to have to type that in. The book shows this minus sign right perfectly even with the fraction bar. You could try typing it like that. Or I know when we practiced it, some of them were like that. Is it multiple choice online? Oh. Like on paper, this is full credit. Yep, that would be right. All right, so what'd you say, Sandra? 13 online? 11 online? Do you have any idea what number that is on paper?
14.
Does it look like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know I had to pause on this one because I was assuming it was a cube root because the cube root of 125 is 5. So had that been a little 3, we could have simplified it, but 125 does not fifth root, so it stays. The fifth root of 10, or x to the 10th, you can simplify, bring the 5 down and around, think about that like a rational exponent, and it's x squared. Another way to think about the fifth root of x to the 10th is to write out 10 x's. And so, like, since it's a fifth root, you put it in groups of 5. So it's the fifth root of x to the 5th. And that will also lead you to that conclusion of x squared. But seeing the fraction, I think, is best. Are you able to type that in, Sandra?
Yeah.
What if you type in the x squared first? Does it show it wrong? You don't have to waste your time on it, but I mean, I guess this is a coefficient and a variable, but I would have put the x squared first. Oh, okay. 16 on paper. So the first thing to simplify with 16 is the fact that you have ends top and bottom. And so there's a longer way. You could do 2 minus 9 because that quotient property says we subtract. But for me, I've practiced a lot, so I just see the difference. I know the difference between 2 and 9 is 7. And since there's more on the bottom, you'll end up with n to the 7th in the denominator. Then I separate it. Is that the right problem? Just try to, when there's more than one variable and it's simplified, like always try to combine them somehow. If you can. You can't always. Rowan, this is your favorite problem. I don't know why you're not doing it. Yeah. Weird. Simplify so much.
What is that at the bottom? Oh, wait, never mind.
That's just kind of like a way to consider n squared over n to the 9th. A visual.
Is it gonna be one
Like what? Let's look at 15 on paper. For sure.
In the book, this one's number 45, and 45's not an option.
I know.
So, like,
So I still went through it in the last classes. It's in there. The domain and range is a little more difficult on that one, but it's really just combining like terms. So it's not a waste of time. If you want to just try it. $15. One strategy we use in problems like 15 is separating them. So it's the cube root of 9 times the cube root of a to the 12th times the cube root of b to the 3rd. What number is this one online? So, man, 9 doesn't cube root. It only square root. So that one's stuck. And 9's an ace. And then I'm going to, for the a, I'm going to make it 12 over 3. I'm going to look at it in exponent form. And for the b, the index and the exponent cancel. So I have the cube root of 9 AB. And I think you could put the AB first online and it'll still, sorry, A4B. And it'll still be marked right. I think half these computers are close to being dead. Because the Chromebook, only one plug was in, so look at your computer. It might be close to being dead, unfortunately. Raise your hand if your computer's about to die. Yeah, I don't know. How do you know? The bottom right. Actually, when you leave here, if your computer's about to die, if you could plug it in, that'd be great. 11 online. What? Yeah. Sandra? Oh, just now? So just work on it on paper. But there's others. Like the ones plugged in on the file cabinet are still charged. So if it's worth it to you to, fire that up, go right ahead. Did you say this one's about to die? I don't know how it got unplugged. Yeah, like this one should be fully charged. I'm going to mark this and give it back to you so you can keep it and study it. Thank you. All right, who's got a request? I think it's maybe 48. It's 48. Is it F plus G of X?
Yeah, it's 48.
Mm-hmm. So we're on 23 online. Yeah, you can actually combine these like terms. It's assigned online. So it's not a waste of time, so I'm still doing it, but it wasn't in the original list. I must have misclicked. I hope I didn't misclick many, but this was a misclick.